Hello and welcome to Productivity Nerd, a podcast all about getting shit done, hopefully in an elegant way that doesn't leave you too broken. In our crazy worlds, we're all about balancing the need to work enough to make ends meet, enough not to annoy our bosses, but also enough that we feel like we've done enough, which can be a whole different psychological and emotional ballgame, along with the human need to rest and stay well. Plus, on top of that, we'd quite like to enjoy ourselves, maybe just a little bit along the way, spending quality time with those we love. I, for one, love hearing about how people get that balance and work more efficiently so they have more time to do the things that they love.
Hi, and welcome to Productivity Nerd. It's great to have you here. Today, I am thinking about how you manage when your productivity slumps. Because let's face it, we are not robots. There may be any number of reasons why you might be finding it hard just to get shit done. Some might be within your control. It might be a mindset thing, like in episode 37, and it's about managing your mental state. And sometimes it may not be something in your control. You might be ill, you might be caring for somebody and having to visit hospitals or be present with someone that needs you more than normal. And sometimes that can feel like we're being unproductive. If we're not going at 100 miles an hour and we're achieving and creating and building, we consider that to be, a failure. And is that because our normal output or our expectations of our own behavior and what we do is so high? So I'm going to think about a couple of these today, because that's obviously a massive topic, and I'm not an expert and I'm not a therapist. Definitely not a therapist. But I do think it's worth talking about the fact that we cannot all be on it 100% every single bleeding time, because we can't. I absolutely have had to work around some health challenges in the past, and I'm going to go into one of them in a bit more detail. And, some visitation of hospitals still ongoing for a long period of time. But thinking about an actual expert, David Allen, getting things done, chap, productivity isn't about doing more. And that is worth remembering. It's about feeling good about what you're not doing. That really hits especially hard when life throws you into doing something out of the ordinary, like caregiving or managing health conditions. Being present for somebody else or prioritizing your health by taking more time off is not unproductive. It's just productive in a different life domain, right? So I'm going to bear that in mind as we go through. So if you think back to Stephen Covey, for example, or you think to sharpening the axe, it could well be, if you are sick, resting is sharpening your axe, because if you don't rest, you're not going to be the best version of you to do the thing when you can do it. Rest will help you feel better later. Maybe rest. And people with, ongoing health conditions, sort of autoimmune type things, they get really good at having to balance rest and work because they have no other option. The rest of us, perhaps not so well practiced in it, but there are certainly a lot of people who do this every single day, also without thinking about it, but it's just become part of their daily routine because it has to be. So I worked for what feels like months, probably was months, with a slip disc. It started not as a slip disc. It started as a weird butt ache, and I went to see an osteopath, and they gave me some stretches and yada yada. But by the time I took a holiday, it was full on agony. The osteo had, not gone into details, but anyway, it transpired that it was in fact sciatica / slip disc, and I couldn't lie on a sunbed. I couldn't do anything. My friends were sort of feeding me Piriton and lager to try and neutralize me because the paracetamol was doing nothing. And I ended up in hospital on a drip. And I do not know what was in that drip, but man, it was good. And it sort of cured me temporarily. The only downside was that it wore off eventually. So when I got home, I went back to work. I was self-employed, as I am now. And there is no such thing as sick pay when you're self-employed. If you're not doing the work, you don't get paid. And the mortgage doesn't get paid. So not working was not an option. So I worked from bed. I could only lie down. I couldn't comfortably sit, stand, or walk. Lying wasn't comfortable, but it was the least bad option. I got a special little laptop contraption so I could adjust it, so I could work lying down. And I developed a system of working in pomodoros alongside my pain meds that meant I kind of worked in bursts at the point at which my meds kicked in long enough to reduce the pain so I could concentrate, but not so much that I wanted to fall asleep or was high as a kite. So there's a sort of balance to it all. And in an ironic twist, I eventually did get surgery because it wasn't getting any better. And they told me to take 2 weeks off after surgery. But 10 minutes after I woke up, I already felt so much better than I had in previous months. So, yeah, it was kind of weird in that regard. So I did work. But I did. Self-employed, no money, got to do it. Anyway, not telling you this for like sort of sympathy or anything. I'm just saying that for this or any other reason, not working wasn't an option for me. So I had to find a way where I could do a balance of the bare minimum and, not lose my clients, but also, manage insane pain medication and insane pain and tiredness and stress and depression, because being in pain, trust me, does not make for a very happy mental health situation. So I had to do all that, and I had to work out not to feel too bad about it, because needs must, right? You've just got to get through whatever you do. So I would work in my good hours, those pomodoros were scattered through sort of day and evening. Whenever I had a good moment, I would work. Life stuff, where it was at all possible, was delegated to other people. It wasn't always possible. I lived on my own. So I did move back in with my parents at one point, just, to get food. And so I could have washing done, because that was the level I was working at. But I managed to get through it, and Pomodoro saved me. And sometimes 15 minutes was enough, not 25. And if I had a proper job, I obviously wouldn't have worked, right? That would have been ludicrous, but I had to do what I had to do. And if I had read Cal Newport back in those days and was considering slow productivity, I'd have realised that what I was prioritising was quality over quantity. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't recommend diazepam for quality work. I certainly don't. But I looked at the work and I went, what's going to pay me the money? And what can I not do? Because I, have to focus on the billable hours and the stuff that's going to get my clients what they need. They were my priorities. Everything else just had to go, because there just weren't enough hours where I was competent in a day to do anymore. But I think the main thing when I think of as life happens is it happens to everybody. People get sick, people slip discs, people die, people move house, get married, all sorts of stuff, all of which is unhelpful for work productivity. But we're not on the planet to be productive for work. We're on the planet to have a life, and very much, life stuff is human stuff, right? And we all have seasons. Going into a season where you have young kids, or elderly parents, or for many people, less than both, right? At both ends, young kids and elderly parents that have health challenges. It's a lot. And we need to be accepting that real life is going to throw spanners in our works, and progress is progress in whatever area of life. So Graham Allcott would always say, people first, work second, always, which is a great, I'm going to say that again because I just love it as a mantra. People first, work second, always. It is such a great thing to have in your mind when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. So apart from drug-addled pomodoros, which wouldn't recommend unless you really can't find another way, what other practical approaches can we implement when life throws stuff at us that is out of our control? So, borrowed from getting things done, task triage, write everything down. When it feels like your head is going to explode and everything feels blurry, just go, what's the next action I can take on this thing? Can I defer or delegate it? So brain dump it. Can I defer it? What's the next action? So even if you only touch one or two on your list, that's still progress. Get out of your head, into a system, onto a post-it note or a planner or a list, whatever. Just get it out of your head. Things tend to look less horrifying when you know what the ask is. And then lower the bar, right? Intentionally lower the bar. What is the minimum viable productivity that you can get away with? What's the smallest version of a successful day? One email, one load of laundry. Choose one or three small wins and let that be enough. And give yourself credit for achieving that, however small it is. And if you set out to have a shower, write one email, put a load of laundry on, and you hit all those, Amazing. Well done. You've got through what needed to get done. Start small, keep it small, because psychologically you need to feel like you're achieving, and that will help you. And try an I'm human list. So alongside your work tasks, keep an I'm human task, right? I drank some water. I cooked a meal. I ate an apple. I didn't eat 3 Mars bars. Just say for myself. When your productivity takes a hit, you should try and lead with the human you. So I currently have a list on my planner. I sort of transfer it over every day. And it's just called Things for Feeling Well Every Day. I don't have to do all of them. I don't have to do any of them. And they are things exactly like drink water, meditate for 3 minutes, take your vitamins, get in your barrel, go to the gym, do some physio stretches. In theory, they're all things I should be doing every day, right? But that list, oh my God, is endless, isn't it? You know, moisturize, hydrate, eat 5 fruit and vegetables, 100 grams of protein. Don't forget to, once a week exfoliate your face. Who has time for all this stuff? Oh my God. So I have a list of, human shit. And when I've done 1, I get a tick. If I do 3, happy days. If I ever get to 5, some kind of party. But yeah, human stuff is important. And where life goes a bit crazy, it's really easy to deprioritize looking after yourself. And something as simple as taking 2 minutes to have a little breathe, taking 2 minutes to sit and have coffee and quiet, or drink some water. It's all good stuff. So I highly recommend a done list as well instead of a to-do list, because you should get smug points for doing an early washing or remembering to put the bins out, whatever other thing you've done today that is an achievable thing. Write them all down, whatever small. You want to feel good about what you have done. And sometimes when we hold a lot of information in our brain about tasks that just recur, that are sort of 5-minute jobs that have been out, sometimes you just need to give yourself a pat on the back for stuff. Do it. And if your brain is screaming at you, I'm falling behind, or I'm not getting done what I want to get done, and you're starting to feel those sort of guilt gremlins, try and journal, write down what that voice is saying and balance it out. So, instead of, oh my God, I'm failing, it's like, I'm adapting, or oh my God, this is a nightmare, I don't know where to begin. This isn't forever, this is a short-term thing. I have the ability to get through this, whatever this may be. Remind yourself you're doing the very best you can in that given moment, and remind yourself that you are allowed to ask for help, right? I struggled with work when I had my disc because I didn't have a team at that point. It was me, myself, and I. I have a team now. I would absolutely be reaching out, going, right, this has happened. Please, can you pick up X, Y, Z? It depends on the circumstances. And the same outside of work. I had friends that were like, please, can you walk my dogs? Because I can even drive to walk the dogs, much less actually walk the dogs. So there are some things that you can just ask for help with if you need it. Don't feel you have to do it all on your own. So we're not machines, we're human beings doing our very, very best. And when life gets a bit loud, even small and quiet wins count. Pipe them down, congratulate yourself. Give yourself a bit of permission to pause, celebrate those tiny victories, and know that rest and care and slowness are all part of productivity as well. Doesn't always have to be about going 100 miles an hour. Thanks for joining me on this mini pod, which has been slightly maudlin. I apologise. I'll see you next time on Productivity Nerd. And today, if all you manage to do is listen to this podcast, give yourself a tick. It's a thing done, right? Look forward to speaking to you soon.